Next up, Brentford against Manchester United. Commentary from Robin Cowan.
Was that a little bit closer than you would have liked, I guess, towards the end there?
Yeah, definitely. But as I just said to you, we are in the entertainment business, aren't we? So everything for the TV and the fans and all that. And of course, it's way easier to stand here on the backside of a win.
We knew coming into the game we need to start sharp because they're going to come and they're going to play a lot of long balls and put pressure on us. And I thought we dealt with that. It's just that end of the first half where we needed to stay. We could defend it a lot more better. I think it's difficult, especially with the young players. But I thought all of them that come in and started the game really did do well.
We have a big responsibility. I think it's stressful is to lose games. When we are fighting for winning a title, for me, it's not stressful. Stressful is today. Is try to think about the game, think about the next game, think about the context, think about protect the young kids. That is the hardest part, especially in the club like Manchester United.
Everyone's going to keep talking about Europe and you've got your sights set on that. But just to have something like that possibly in the distance, it must be great.
I think it's very great to have something to push for. I think just give that extra edge. But of course, any team want to end as high as possible. We definitely want to do that. We just had short turnaround, very difficult. Away to Nottingham, home to Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Got 6 points, 2 well-deserved wins. That's very impressive.
Yeah, they are on a good run and still in with the chance of a European place, which we'll look at in a little while. They exploited some Manchester United vulnerabilities today, didn't they, Brentford?
Yeah, I thought they did. I think Brentford, we know how Brentford play. They do it every week. And if you look at Manchester United, they're obviously back five. Harry Amas, he has to get tighter to the ball. We talked about Kukurea previously, about getting tight. He doesn't. And then it allows Brentford to come inside and have different options. But then here, Garnacho, Mainu, they switch off, and I don't know what they're doing. Obviously, De Ligt goes down with the injury. Garnacho switch off, the Mainu switches off, which you can't do that against this Brentford team who like to put balls in the box and try and hurt you. And then it's a great cross and a great header. I think for young Fredrickson here, I think if he just opens his body out a little bit, he can maybe see the forward and get his arm across, but he doesn't. Makes it very difficult for himself, and then it's a really good header. But Brentford caused Manchester United problems all day from wide areas, I think. Ahmad, he's not in my opinion, he's not a wing-back. But if he's playing there, he has to put the work in. So again, cross into the box. Brentford done it all day. They picked up the second balls. They sustained attacks. They get it back out wide again. Ahmad has completely switched off. Ball goes out wide again. And again here, young Fredrickson again. He's got 3 players to try and take care of, which is impossible. Ahmad doesn't get back in and cover for him. And then they concede another goal from across. So this was all afternoon. This was happening to Manchester United. And here they're a little bit just disjointed. The back line, ball goes out wide again. No pressure on the wide player. Jensen runs off Mainu, doesn't get back in, finds out in a lot of space. And then this is a great pass and great 2 passes. It becomes an easy finish for Wissett. But Brentford caused Manchester United problems all day getting the ball out wide, and Manchester United didn't really have that intensity in how
intensity is the word.
It is intensity, but the great point you make there about wing-backs, different than a back four, allows you to go and press anyway, because you've got the centre-halves, the extra centre-half behind you. But surely that's what they do in training, no? It's like, if you're a coach of a system, the basics of a system, if you've got wing-backs, they press the wide men quick. And it doesn't look like they're doing it. It's bizarre to me to see.
Yeah, it's strange, because that's why you play a back five, if you like, or a back 3 with your wing backs. They have to put pressure on the ball, otherwise you get outnumbered in the midfield, then the ball comes back into the midfield. So it was straight. But they had a lot of young players on the pitch.
Well, and that's it, isn't it? It was the 3rd youngest ever Premier League starting 11 of any club, and it showed at times.
It did show, and I think it showed with. There was a lack of movement, a lack of know-how on the pitch, if you like. And you see here, the ball goes to Luke Shaw. He's got a lot of time, a lot of space on the ball. If he plays that wide to Amas, then it maybe brings Garnacho into the game a bit more. Doesn't, it's slow, it goes back to the goalkeeper. Ball's getting moved slow around the back. There's no movement, really, for anyone to try and get on the ball. And then now, they've got a 17-year-old lad up front, youngest ever for Manchester United to start a Premier League game. And they're just launching balls up to him, and I really felt for Obi today, because you could tell he's inexperienced, but it looked like he had no help. They're just throwing balls up to him. maybe a wrong selection of his run, a bit too easy for the Brentford defenders to.
The ball didn't do him any favours,
The ball
though,
didn't,
did it?
but and again here now, Manchester United in the pressing there was no intent, no organisation with it. As we see it, they lose the ball here, but then no one getting anywhere near the ball. Lots of space for Brentford to do what they want, really. But again, he stands on the ball, slow. Ball goes back to the goalkeeper. No movement really to get on the ball. Long ball up again, and then for Brentford, it was easy for them to obviously deal with the young lad up top. So, and then here, Brentford win the ball back. No organisation, no intensity on it. Late to get to the ball. Within 2 passes, Brentford could be in on goal again. So
it's a muddle, isn't it?
See, I get there's young players, I understand that, and they're playing against good teams. But he only plays this system.
Yeah.
He's not mixing things up, personnel and systems. He's been there a while now. So when you play a system that much and you work on it that much in training, surely we can see more improvement, irrelevant of who's playing, because they should be organised in that system.
Yeah, you'd think so, but I think the second team, I think they're playing a back four, which I found strange, because the second team, a lot of them players who were playing
like
the first team...
Like the under-21s or under-23s.
A lot of them players who've come into the first team now, they're getting their game time with the under-23s or under-21s, and they're playing different systems. So, for me, that's a bit confusing. So I think the Europa League, getting the Europa League final is papering over a lot of cracks. There's big problems at Manchester United, and that needs solving quickly.
Whereas Brentford, everybody knows what they're doing, everybody knows what their role is, and everybody chips in as well. You know, some teams may have a 30-goal-a-season player. Brentford have got 3 who are into double figures, and no other Premier League team has that this season.
It's brilliant, yeah. They've also got great intensity and physicality about them. But make no bones about it, I've seen Brentford live a few times. They play as well as go long. You know, they do have long throw-ins, they do play long occasionally and use the pace, but they can play out as well with Norgard getting on it. They vary their game as well as anyone in the Premier League. He's done a great job.
And we know what the Europa Conference League did for, say, when West Ham got into it. You look at we think it could be 8th that gets you into the Conference League next season. If you're Bournemouth, if you're Brentford, it's a big incentive.
Absolutely, for clubs. You know, you don't want to be there if you're Man United, Liverpool or Chelsea, of course not. But those clubs can go on a journey with the supporters, possibly win silverware. West Ham's the best example of it.
Yeah, I think you see the reaction to West Ham winning, the fans and big European nights, and they go away. I think they got to semi-final. It was the Europa League or Conference League the year before. And then they go and win a European Cup. So it's massive for Brentford, you think. I played against Brentford with Derby County a few years ago. To see them now established in the Premier League, doing really well and potentially playing in Europe, I think the manager has done brilliant there.
Right, next, West Ham in 17.
What were your thoughts on the performance, the way the game developed?
I think it's a little bit a reflection of our season. We start quite well, controlling the game, not creating big chances, but controlling the pace of the game. We suffer a lot with the throw-ins and set pieces, but we already knew that our team would struggle against this team. We didn't have the height will be necessary for this kind of game. They scored twice in this kind of moments, even with the Mata on the floor. And then in the second half, I felt that we were near the draw, and then we suffer a goal, and like some other times we disconnect, and then another goal in the almost 3 minutes, 5 minutes later, and then we push forward, try to score. We scored twice, but we didn't have the time to do better.
You mentioned with the half-time changes, were they tactical or were they planned?
No, it was just Luke Shaw with Mata. We don't know what will happen on Thursday. If we don't have Luke Shaw available, we can have a problem, and then we don't have enough defenders for the game.
Is Luke Shaw injured?
No. What I'm saying is that we have to protect some players at half-time, thinking about Thursday. So it was just that, not about thinking about the game.
Chris?
Are there any players actually out injured for Thursday in terms of Mata, as you mentioned, and your view of that second goal when he went down and the players were appealing for the foul?
I will not comment that. the important thing is to have Mata. I'm not thinking about Thursday. Not a big issue. It's the only thing I ask is not to have him available for this game or for whatever is going to happen in the future. I just don't want a big issue because we had a problem with Licha and with Mata, but I don't know. I'm just talking. I have no idea. It could be training in 3 days. I don't know.
How important is it that your young players learn from today? Because obviously it was an incredibly young team.
It's really important. They have to understand in this season. This season is really important also to understand that we cannot do this anymore. Of course, we know the context, but this kind of season, we need to change that. They need to understand what is to play for Manchester United. I think they did really well. They are not playing so much, but then they have to play 90 minutes because we have to change some other players to save them for Thursday. And I think we can help even more the young kids. Especially Tyler did quite well in the third goal. He needs more help from Ahmad. So these small things, I think we can help them more, but I'm really happy with the performance of the young kids.
And how pleased were you for Mason Mount? I mean, great finish, huge smile on his face.
It's not just really tough. It's not just the finish. It's the position that he has on the pitch. He's like a third midfielder that can reach the box. He's really intelligent, so he's getting there, and he trains really hard. Sometimes I have to push him back and to take him out the pitch because he wants to do so much more. We are taking care of him. He wants to play more minutes, but the minutes were controlled. I'm really happy with him.